The question of the day is, what does HaMoreh Ministries do? Hey everyone, this is Tiana Johnson, the host of this podcast called Why South Sudan? So I know I've said it many times, but today is a special one. We actually are interviewing the executive director of HaMoreh Ministries. His name is Marcus Lahan, and he is in Brenham, Texas, not in Houston, but we are on the video podcast right now, which is really fun. So, hey, Marcus.
Glad to be here. Wow, I've been looking forward to this. So glad to be with Every Village and talking about really important things that are happening around the world.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. So I did get to do a little a little research. I want to look real professional on our podcast. So I got to learn a little bit of information about HaMoreh, but first I want to hear about you. So give me a little information, share with the listeners, who is the Marcus Lahan?
Well, I'm here in Brenham. I am married to a wonderful, wonderful lady named Wendy, and we have 7 children. But in Kenya, we have to say, or in East Africa, they say, I have 7 children, 1 wife. So
There you
I have
go.
1 wife, and so we are here in Brenham, Bluebell Country. In fact, our church is located on Bluebell Road, so we're right down from the creamery. So I'm also the pastor of the church here at Redeemer, and so the fun days here. I'm looking across the room and I'm staring at a trophy that I just received for the championship or fantasy football league, which means that I am somebody in this world. And that I have the skills to be a general manager for a team that does not actually exist. So I can't wait to get my name on that plaque.
That's hilarious. I love that a trophy for the fantasy football is what made you feel like you were somebody, because you are someone so unique and so needed. Okay, so one question. So with the Bluebell, because I know it's originated there in Brenham. So have you done the Bluebell 5K? Is that what it's called? That you
I
run
have
and then you eat
eaten
it?
ice cream that's at the 5K, and I've watched other people and encouraged them in kind of a Barnabas kind of very spiritual way.
I love it. That's good. That's good. I know Andrew, he's a big runner. I enjoy running. I need to get back to it, but we might have to come up there and you can
Yeah,
cheer us on. We might have to do it.
I'll be on the front row cheering you on.
That is so good. All right, so when you said that you have 7 children, all I could think of, man, the South Sudanese will just love you for that. Yeah, they are very proud of their many, many children. So good job.
Yes,
And the one
it
wife.
is. Yes, it's surprising when they see a white-faced Mzungu. In Kenya we call them Mzungus. When they have a Mzungu who has many children, they're like, what? What's going on here?
I
And
know,
where's
it's
your other
true.
wife? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, in South Sudan, they're called Kawajas. So,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. All right, well, I've enjoyed getting to talk to you, and I'm so excited for our listeners to get to hear a little bit more about the ministry specifically. So, kind of would love to hear first about. I know we kind of talked through about Hamore, like how do you say it? What does it actually mean? The title of it.
So we were started in 2006 by a professor of Old Testament, and so we have a Hebrew name. So the HaMoreh comes from the Hebrew, the teacher in English. So we are a ministry that is meant to teach to those who are in the greatest need, and so that's where our name comes from. And what we actually do is. We try to identify those who we say are like the farthest from the well. So that's a very every village kind of talk. But we had the same kind of idea in that for pastors to leave their home and then go into the big city where there is maybe some training, that's impossible. It's impossible because it's very expensive for them to do that, for them to leave their family, for them not to have the same kind of standing that they had when they left and when they come back. And so what we found is there's just a great church planting movement that's happening in the rural areas, especially where we are in Kenya. And there isn't a way to train and equip these pastors. So, and when I say train and equip, I think like we think about seminary, and this it is basically a mini seminary. But if you think about these pastors who are in these rural areas, who, like all of us, they're just trying to make ends meet, and they're living in a very difficult place. They may be pastoralists, or they may be farmers, and they just don't have very much, and they are whatever happens in the environment around them, whether it be the weather or war or whatever, tribal war. They are hugely affected by this. And yet they are called to not just care for themselves and their immediate family and the family around them, but God has called them into this greater work of caring for the whole community, and to establish a church, and to have a building and find some way to pay for that, and sound system, or whatever they're trying to do, or the drum, and they're also trying to figure out how to be pastors who care for their neighbors. And it is a tremendous work. It's a tremendous work on this side. It's even a greater work there. I mean, it's so often that church planners just kind of fizzle out because it's overwhelming. And add to that, you have no training for it, you have no community for it. Add to that you are expected to work for no pay, and then also be the assistant to the families that you go and minister. They're looking to you like a chief to provide for them, and you have nothing. You came on your own dime. It is an overwhelming thing. And they have little formal education, or no formal education, these pastors do, and they have no experiential education as well. So it's not like they learned from another pastor, or they came from even a Sunday school. They are first generation, and they mainly have what they have to look at mainly is either bad examples around them, who are people who are doing the same thing, or they have the internet, or these televangelists to listen to. And so it becomes a real warped sense, because those mediums are not great for teaching pastoral work.
Mm-hmm.
And so being present with these pastors, bringing the education to them, but also bringing the community to them, is really important, that they get to come together where they are. And when I say where they are, they still have to travel a long way just to get there. It'll be a day and a half travel for them oftentimes to get to the location we're having, but it is manageable. They can get back before Sunday services.
Mm-hmm.
And so we teach for a week at a time in a place 3 times a year. With every village, we're actually going to teach 2 weeks back to back, because it's so difficult for us to get to those places. And we do 9 modules, so 9 weeks of training over a couple or 3 years. But the real beauty is when we get to come together as the people of God, speaking a language that they are fluent in, and whether it be English or Swahili, and sometimes we do then translate into a tribal language, we speak to them in such a way that they can understand, communicate lessons in such a way that semi-literate or even illiterate folks can understand and grasp those things. It's a powerful thing. And in Ephesians 5, it talks about being filled with the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And being filled with the Spirit includes thanksgiving, operating out of joy, and that happens when we are together. It also includes like songs and hymns and spiritual songs that we speak to each other the gospel over and over again through our experiences. And then the other thing is that we submit one to another. We are like putting each other's needs before our own, and saying like, we're in this kingdom work together, and I want to help you. And the other person says, I want to help you extend what God is doing in your life, in your family, and in the church. That is a powerful combination for seeing the kingdom of God come here on earth. It is a powerful thing, and it's where the Spirit is working and continues to work. And so we're seeing a huge amount of salvations, a huge amount of people churches that are planted. The churches are growing and are getting healthier and healthier. And so we are just thankful to be on the front row of seeing that kind of thing happen.
I love that. I actually took some notes because you said so many good things in there. So first, I love how you even, well, I guess let me start back that, HaMoreh Ministries is such an answer to prayer for every village because, we have the water, we have the radio, which we're doing, fantastic at, praise God. But really the discipleship piece, that is the piece that is so, so, so important.
Right.
It's a, yes, they're hearing the word. Yes, they're doing, listener groups and all of that, which I'm so grateful for. But healthy churches, like that is so, so important. And Andrew said it, many, many times that like the church is what's on the ground. The church is what's going to stay there. And that's why it's so important to have healthy churches. And you had mentioned about, as pastors, when they feel the call to go and church plant and they don't, aren't getting paid and they're really seen such as a chief. And it's so, so true. And I just think of how hard it is to not walk in pride. I mean, one, churches, pastors here in America, I mean, we have a hard enough time being put on a pedestal. But like imagine living in a village where you don't really have many others to kind of really like co-labor with or to really feel like, oh no, they understand the struggle that I'm feeling, but like to really walk like Jesus. And I think, yeah, so I love what HaMoreh is doing. I love that it's a long-term study. When you said it's over 3 years, I love that because that's walking with Jesus. Like, the disciples didn't just like hear it in a week or hear it in a day and they're good to go. But it's like, we're going to walk alongside of you for a long time. And so I really, really value that and appreciate what y'all are doing. And so my question, one of the questions too, so with HaMoreh, because y'all are working in South Sudan, where else are y'all working in or
So
working at?
we have 9 locations presently in Kenya. And as the ministry grows, we kind of go where our graduates are. So they will say, hey, come back to my place, come back to my place. And so we have requests every day. Our national director does, please come to my place, come to my place. Our heart goes out because like we can't be everywhere. We want to be, but so we continue to expand and that allows us to expand out. So the reason we chose Kenya in the first place was because there's so much, there's a fluidity of English, which allows us to do the discipleship easier. And then with the idea that once guys are getting it in their own language, they're able to translate at least the practice of what we're talking about into their own cultures. So Kenya made a lot of sense. South Sudan makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of English that's spoken there. So we teach both in English, and then we have classes that are only in Swahili. And I imagine in the future we'll have them in some other languages. But a lot of the other languages, like in South Sudan, are not always written. So it's not like it's even as helpful to translate, at least in a literary way, into these different languages. So yeah, we're to answer your question, we're in Kenya, in South Sudan, and hopefully we'll be in Ethiopia and Uganda in the next couple of years.
That's so great. That is awesome. So, back in, I guess you said it's 2006 is when y'all started?
Yes,
Yes. So 2006. So I guess the original vision is today what is happening. Has it always remained the same, or have y'all had to do like kind of some growing pains of like, oh, we need to tweak it, or this works better with this tribal group, or yeah, kind of just curious of growing pains over the years even.
Oh, yeah. Great question. No, this is not what we started doing. What we started doing was sending professors and seminary students and the like to the universities in the big city. And the seminaries in the big city, and then providing assistance in that kind of way. And then when we talked to some of the guys on the ground, they said, look, we have a lot of guys who come to class and then they leave and never come back because they can't afford it. They can't afford all those things I said earlier. And so what we need to do is we need to go to them. So I went around with a guy named Linus Karimi, who had been on staff at one of those seminaries, and he said, let me take you around. And so he was the vice moderator at one point for the Baptist convention. So he knew a lot of churches, and he knew a lot of churches, a lot of pastors. And so we went and met those different pastors. And in 2013 is where we found a place that was 7 hours, 8 hours away from Nairobi. And we started a class there. We taught those guys for 3 years. And then we had the class, and we basically did it over again. And about half of those students were our previous students, and we just spent time with them. And so you can imagine my board. We're year 6, and we have 35 students. And but from there we were able to then multiply because we had made disciples. And so those disciples have now taken us everywhere. So we've, if you say I've been here for 13 years, that's so 7 years ago is when we were at that point. We had one site with 35, and now you're with 11 sites in 2 countries with 850. You can see, like, this is Christ's model for multiplication. This is the way it should happen. So, we'll be at probably 1,000 by the end of this year, and so forth and so on. And so the key is like starting slow and small, and you can build disciples. So we have another group that are going to be our teachers that have gone through our advanced diploma program, and they graduate in February. And then we'll have about double the number of teachers. So most of the teaching, 90%, 95%, is done by Kenyans, East Africans. And
Wow,
soon
yeah.
it will be done by South Sudanese.
There
So,
you go. I've
yeah.
heard actually really great feedback from, the South Sudanese hearing from the Kenya teachers, because I know, clash of cultures and all of that, but they've really, really enjoyed the teacher that they've gotten from Kenya. So I
Yeah.
think that's like a good little feedback there.
Well, here's something that just is beautiful. There's so many things that happen when you're doing it in community. So, like, we, just like South Sudan and Kenya, we have lots of tribal fights in the rural areas, and for these different tribes to come together, who are oftentimes warring, and they belong to a different kingdom now. They're a different tribe, and it's a beautiful thing to see. But also, when you're in the rural areas, you're dealing with the least educated of all the tribes. And so now these least educated are the teachers. And so it's like ironic how the gospel has changed things. Like, it's turned things upside down, where,
Yes.
like, the people who are really knowledgeable and have understanding are the least likely. They're not who you would have expected. And yet that it seems to be the economy of the kingdom at times.
It is, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, what is that, scripture? Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's like, instead of fishermen, it's shepherds. That's our goat herders. That's who are the teachers now. And it's kind of like we just kind of smirk. It's so kind of funny. Like,
Yes.
yeah, here's this guy who's a Samburu, a Turkana, who are known to be warriors, and
Yes.
here they are. They're at peace and they're teaching.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, in South Sudan, it's the witch doctors that, as they were, casting witchcraft and all of that, and then they're saying, no, my allegiance is with Christ. Like, it's just, it's so, so powerful. Or I think some of my favorite stories are the men that are in prison, that our radio staff will go to the prison and bring radios and preach and check on them and everything. And they're just, they just realize their need for Christ. And it is just, I love the kingdom. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's awesome. There's nothing like it.
Yes.
Nothing like it. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Man, so when you, I guess, started with HaMoreh, 13 years ago, did you see yourself working this long, I guess, with the ministry? Or are you just saying, okay, God, I'll just be faithful wherever you call me to?
Well, it did not start with a bang. So when I went over there, the ministry on the state side had kind of fallen apart, and the ministry on that side in Kenya had fallen apart because the seminaries themselves have begun to decline in a significant way. And part of that's because of mission agencies have changed their focus, and also changed their dollars where they or whatever monies they were using to promote the kingdom. And so those seminaries really struggled. And so when I got there, it's like, what is he, what do I have? I mean, what am I working with? So I wasn't thinking too much into the future. I was trying to figure out what was going on where we were. And so, but the Lord was so gracious in that we met someone that we were able to trust immediately, that had been in connection with HaMoreh, and to walk with him through all of this has just been, Linus Creamy, has been just a blessing. So it could have gone a different way altogether, but it's by God's grace and His providence that we were able to meet some very quality people who have been faithful in their kingdom service.
Oh, praise God. It
Yeah,
is, I mean, I think that's, when you think of even like South Sudan, but knowing our staff's heart, like knowing the ones that are truly walking with God, it's just like so incredible that it's like
yeah,
this is why we do what we do because
yeah.
it's truly amazing. So I did
And,
have a question. Oh, sorry.
no,
You
go
were
ahead,
gonna
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. I did have a question in reference to your like how does a pastor like join HaMoreh? Like how do they even get to be, like do they, which I know that you said that they are constantly messaging saying like, "Hey, come to my village," and all of that, but how does show me that
So
process.
generally we have the word of mouth where pastors will tell other pastors and they'll want to come and join. And so we have an orientation, and you have to actually fill out an application. And our requirement is that either you are a pastor, or you have been recognized as your pastor as a leader who's emerging. And so those are the people we receive. But it's pretty. Word of mouth is pretty powerful, and so
Mm-hmm.
there are lots of people who are interested with, which is why every village is so important, because they did the recruiting. No one had experience with HaMoreh to know to come, and it's by the good word of every village that we have students that would come in the first place. So.
Mm-hmm. Does HaMoreh charge pastors to join?
No, we don't charge the pastors to be there, and we also provide the food for them. We pay our teachers a small stipend, and so it's all kind of expense on our part.
Mm-hmm.
It costs them to be there in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
so we don't charge them anything beyond that. We've considered that even just a nominal fee. But as we've gotten counsel from our other pastors, we're in the rural areas where
Mm-hmm.
it's just they're just trying to survive oftentimes. So we find that the cost that they have to travel is their own, and so that's probably burden enough.
Yeah. No, I
So
really love that. No, I
yeah,
I really love it because like you said, the least are the ones that are being called to do this, and
yeah.
it is so true. They're having to walk or find transport or, you know, I mean,
And they're not
oftentimes,
going to be able to work during that time and this
yes.
kind of things, and so
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, so you don't want to charge them such
Mm-hmm.
that they can't feed their family at home, and that's what happens. And so we just be aware of that, and
Mm-hmm.
try to be as generous as we can.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to share one story with you just to encourage you in the work that HaMoreh is doing. Is that so? David Jong, he is our radio manager in Tanj, and
Mm.
so he lived in the village, growing up, and so his pastor literally only knew like 5 Bible stories from the New
Mm.
Testament, and just I mean, literally every Sunday, just repeat them, repeat them, repeat them, and that's how he came to know Christ. And
Right?
so, and then when he heard about the radio, he was like, I want to disciple people. I want to share the good news, and it's through radio because he actually is disabled physically.
Mm.
And so it's such a blessing, but it's like, man, to know that he came to Christ because of these 5 stories, that is
Right?
on repeat, but it's like, man, just the gift that people get to receive such training and such the knowledge of the word, but also to walk in humility, walk like Jesus is such a gift. So I'm just really
Yeah.
thankful for what your ministry is doing.
Well, thank you, thank you. I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the things that I was just talking with Linus Karimi this morning, and one of the things that's encouraging is like uh, we've been doing this long enough that this curriculum makes sense to the guys that we're teaching. So it's contextualized, and like they it works with their learning style. It works with their language style, and so um, we're really excited about the possibilities and how well it's working and how the guys are able to understand and then repeat, because that's the big idea. It's like
Mhm.
we're not teaching you so that you're the reciprocal. Did I say that? That's not reciprocal. It's the my wife would be laughing at me right now. Receptacle of all this information,
I
but
think I'm going to keep that in there. I'm not cutting it.
but we pass it on to others, and so that's why we have majority of our teaching is done by guys who've graduated from a class. We're expecting you to be able to learn in such a way that you receive it and are able to teach others. In fact, at the end of class, the last day, usually we have, or leading up to the last day, we have chalk in the hand, which is where we say, okay, you come up here. I want you to explain this to everyone else, what we just learned. I want you to take them through the review from memory. Don't look at your paper, from memory. And so they already realize, like, I'm getting this in order to pass it on, and it's
Oh,
been successful.
that's so good. I love that, but also that would make me so nervous. But that's also the beauty of being, audible learners. I mean,
Yeah,
literally in the village, I would share a Bible story, or they would tell me the Bible story that they heard on the radio, and I'm just like, how do you know that? And
yeah,
where me, I have to like write it down. I got a journal. I gotta
yeah.
recite it 50 times.
And we
Mhm.
do, like, our we review regularly. And so with that review is how it sticks in their head, and it sticks in their head. So
It's amazing. Yeah,
yeah, it's
truly
beautiful.
amazing. Well, this has been such a joy getting to hear your heart and hear more about the ministry. So, kind of the last question, I'd love for our listeners that if anybody wants to actually get connected to HaMoreh Ministries, can you walk us through what that would look like?
Yeah. So you can contact me directly at Marcus at HaMoreh, HaMoreh.org. Marcus at HaMoreh.org. You can also just go to HaMoreh.org and see more of us there. There's a way to contact us there. And so, we love for people to join the journey with us, just as they've done with every village. In this partnership that we have. And so we take people over to help teach. We obviously it costs money to run the programs, and it costs about $17,000 a year to have a site at a certain location. And so we're always trying to start new sites. And basically, the only thing we're waiting on, we have teachers, we have locations. A plethora of those, but we don't have the funding to start the new site. So always that can be a great help.
Ah, I love that. That is wonderful. All right, I'm going to go ahead and list out your email and also .org, I believe.
Yes, .org.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in the description notes for the podcast. So if anybody wants to click on it, please feel free. It is an amazing ministry. We're so grateful for y'all's partnership. We're really just so grateful. We want healthy churches in South Sudan. Lord bless it. And just, Lord, thank you for HaMoreh Ministries.
And I want to say it has been a joy to work with every village. We have gotten along so well, and it just has been a blessing. So we're very thankful for this opportunity. It's like the Lord brought us together. It's beautiful.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Marcus. Just truly grateful for y'all. And so, all right, listeners, we invite you back to the next episode as we answer the question, what is God doing in South Sudan? Take care.